you there behind my ever-growing pile of ironing? Actually, who am I kidding? I don't even own an iron. You have found the ChrissieCast, and today, live from my house, also known as The Compound, it's Regular Crew Tuesday and it's Dave Thornton Day. The best. Yay! On this episode, we delve into the trickiness of accidental stealing, how to deal with blunt people in social situations, and Thorno issues me a career challenge and then swiftly takes it away. How cruel. This is the ChrissieCast. Welcome to the podcast, Dave Thornton.
It is a pleasure, as always, to be here, Chrissie Swan.
Second time lucky.
As they always say, do they? I don't know.
Actually, no, I don't think that is the saying. You're only here because I noticed a few valuable items were missing from my house last time you went. So you're just here to fess up.
Or to double down and take more stuff.
We'll find out. We'll find out in an hour.
Didn't I have 3 kids? Well, I had to sell one of them off. These are uncertain financial times.
I need to confess something to you straight up, and I've been dying for you to come in because I feel like you're going to understand me. I accidentally stole something this week. Properly stole it.
But not accidentally, because I have done that as an adult where, you think, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But
this is the first time I've ever accidentally stolen something. I was a mad racker in my teen years.
Were you?
How do you think I came across the cassette version of Terence Trent D'Arby's The Hard Line According To? 5-finger discount, Thorno.
Did you get a rush on the way out when you got that cassette, or
Yeah.
were you shitting yourself for weeks on end?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then because I was raised Catholic and everything is my fault and the guilt involved in everything eventually comes back to bite you.
Imagine that, just an eternity of damnation because of Terence Trent D'Arby.
Correct. And that is what happened. That tape was in my dad's car when he rolled it and him and his wife nearly died. And I, to this day, that was in 1988.
And you think it was because
I feel like it's because I stole that Terence Trent D'Arby cassette.
Cassette or single?
Cassette. It was the whole album.
I mean, actually worth it.
Totally worth it.
Totally worth it. Wait,
the car was only a Magna. Mitsubishi Magna.
Mate,
fair swap.
Dime a dozen now. So what did you steal this week?
Well, I was at a major department store. I'm not going to name it just in case they come for me. I'm still nervous about this sort of stuff.
Okay.
But I've mastered the art of the click and collect. It took me a long time to work it out.
Yes, it is a complicated mess. I agree with you.
It is.
Yep.
How did you find out it was a complicated mess? It seems so straightforward. Click, which I'm assuming is, what you do online, and then you just go down and get it. But there needs to be a notification. I've gone down so many times and gone, I've just clicked it, I'm here to collect it. And they go, no, you can't. And I go, but I've just walked past the same thing on the way to the click and collect. That's not how it works.
I thought it was reservesies. Like you've just said, yeah, I've got this now and it's yours. And they went, no, it has to go through all the process that we've invented. And you think, I could have just turned up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating. So can you talk about the item of clothing? Well, I don't know if it's clothing.
It's
item
not
of whatever
clothing.
It is. It isn't?
It's not.
Oh, okay.
How good are your psychic powers? What do you think it is? Let's really look at each other and see if you can think of what the items were that I accidentally stole.
Okay, I'm going to sift through at the moment. Oh, that's a bit risky. I would never do that, Chrissie. I don't know why you're thinking about that. But I would think, is it stationary?
Yeah, I'm going to say broadly yes.
Well, when you nicked it, it wasn't. It was bloody moving, mate. It was out of here.
Travelling.
There we go. We are on, sunshine.
So I go down to pick up a click and collect.
Yeah.
Because my mum went to hospital because she broke some ribs. Long story.
Oh, poor
and
thing.
while she was there, I went in and I sorted out her kitchen. Now, everybody knows that if you're going to sort someone's kitchen out, you need a whole lot of plastic containers. So I ordered them all online according to the measurements of her cupboards, and then I went to pick them up, and it was a big bulky thing. That's why I did click and collect, because I didn't want to, just wanted them to wrap it up. So I go and pick it up. It's click and collect. I get a trolley, and it is full of containers, right? And this specific department store has sort of wrapped them in garbage bags. But it's a precarious situation. While I was there waiting for the click and collects to come out of the bowels of the store, I saw some frames and I was like, oh, fantastic. I need full frames.
Photo frames?
Like picture frames.
Yeah.
I'm going to frame some tea towels. Another long story. So you can imagine the size of these things.
Sure.
Big. They were $25 each, but I thought, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, you deserve it.
So I bought 4. Bought being a very casual usage of the verb. So I put them into the trolley with all my click and collect. And then because I'm bonkers and it was my 5th stop of the day and I had to get to work, I walked straight through the door. I looked at the security woman in the eye, brazen, and I said, oh, it's just a click and collect. And she said, sure, and ushered me through.
But your TV's Chrissie Swan. Like, I wouldn't think you would do anything like that.
And TV's Chrissie Swan or IRL Chrissie Swan wasn't doing anything like that at that point. I'd just completely forgotten. I'd completely forgotten my decision process a few minutes earlier. I went down the ramp, all the way down into the bowels of the car park because I park away because it stresses me out driving at all. That's why I walk all the time. Found the car, bip the boot, up it goes. And at that point, I realised that I had stolen the frames.
Okay. And then what's happening inside your lay Catholic, guilt-riddled mind at this point in time?
I looked at them and I thought, oh, my God, what a pain. I now have to pull out all the containers, put them in my boot, close the boot, walk the trolley all the way back up to the department store, walk it all the way through the store to the checkout and buy them. And I did not do that. I chose badness at that point because I still had to get 2 roast chickens and a French stick and make it to work within 35 minutes.
So this is your Walter White Breaking Bad moment. This is when you crossed over into the darkness.
It could be, and here it is recorded for posterity.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you ever, did I do the right, obviously I didn't do the right thing. What I did was against the law, but at the point of realisation, this is what I'm struggling with. Should I have just been late to work and gone in and paid the money?
It's intent, isn't it? Because that's the difference between murder and manslaughter. It is intent. And you went in with it. It was an accident.
It is. It is intent, yes. It was a total accident.
But then laziness was the predominant vibe through this. You went, can't be bothered with this.
You ever done it?
$100 worth of your time.
$100.
Yeah.
There were 4 of them, 25 apiece.
I have walked off at self-checkout, but not consciously. I was distracted and just went, they're all in the bag, see ya. And a 18-year-old in a polo shirt walked back and went, hey, excuse me, you haven't paid. And I just started laughing because I was like, my brain was like, the job's being done. And so that was embarrassing. But the only time as an adult where I've consciously stolen, this is just funny because I'll take you back to a little time called 1999.
Oh, yeah. Wait, let me see where I was. Oh, yeah, I just had a psychic medium style flashback of me smoking at a desk office in Jakarta. Yes, I know exactly where I was in 1999.
In Jakarta?
I know, weird. Another weird story. Go.
Oh, my God. And I was still living in Geelong.
Yeah.
And we were at a bowling alley, like 10-pin bowling alley.
How good is bowling?
It is a lot of fun.
Oh, I love it.
Fun fact, I used to competition bowl as an early teenager. And then I wanted to have sex with women, so I stopped.
Yes, I was going to say.
And so
that delays the process.
But what I thought was cool at the time was where, we'd finished.
Wait, try to 10-pin bowling.
Yeah.
Did you have your own ball?
No, I didn't, but I wanted one.
Did you do that fancy leg flip at the point of release? Can you?
Because we've been on tour with other comics and they go, do you want to go to 10-pin bowling? I'm like, that'd be great. And then I get there and I'm like, they don't know. They don't know that I used to do competition, and then I just rip it and they go, that looks really good. And I'm like, what, that?
What, just the rear leg swing?
Actually, this is something that I'll be proud of. We went 10-pin bowling near me in Brunswick. There's a place, I should give it a plug, but I can't remember its name. It's on High Street in Preston. And
It'd be the AMF.
They've done it. No, this guy's done it all up. So it's like it's like you're in America in the 80s.
Oh, it's like Big Lebowski.
Yes.
Oh, great.
And I went down there and it just made me laugh in that.
That don't matter to Jesus.
Yeah.
What a great movie.
I pulled the trigger until it goes click.
Click. What a great movie. One of the greats.
But I did laugh because some of our other friends were bowling there, other comics as well. Oliver Clark was there. He was quite good.
Oh, I love him.
Tommy Little is very bad at
Gorgeous.
10-pin bowling. Very
Is
bad.
he?
And he dominates in a lot of facets of life. So I was enjoying this a bit too much.
Nice.
And I was trying to give him tips and he hated every part of it. I'm like, mate, you see those arrows? Like, that's where you should be throwing it from, just so they can curve in and hit the pins properly. And he's like, shut your face. But at this time, I thought these shoes are sick, bowling shoes.
Yeah.
And
They're very powdery though. They're super chalky inside.
well, this is the weird thing. So it used to be the transaction where you would give them your sneakers and they would hold them. So obviously you wouldn't run off with it. And I
Yeah.
don't know why that didn't happen. But I had my sneakers and was like, nah, I'm leaving.
Two in the hand. It's worth one in the bush.
And so I got the bowling shoes and I would wear them out to local nightclubs in the Geelong area. Which is, when you think I should have been penalised for stealing, that was the penalty, thinking I could wear them out in public.
What, it wasn't a joke?
It wasn't a joke. I thought I would look kill.
A new look.
And then but they were bowling shoes, so they had, the soles of bowling shoes are supposed to slip around.
They're so slippery.
So I would be in a nightclub that was called My Place in Geelong when I'd head out, and they'd have...
What, was the church busy?
Yeah. And they had a foam party. Do you remember foam parties?
Yes. Oh, degree of difficulty 4,000 in bowling shoes.
For any of the kids listening, they would honestly fill a discotheque with dishwashing liquid.
Yeah, like the suds if you use too much morning fresh.
And it would be a couple of inches of water. Remember, by the end of the night?
Well, it had to be, yeah.
It had to be. And
That's science.
this was also a simpler time. I think there was a time when they still had glass drinks. And then they went, actually, this is not a good combination, because people would smash the drinks because they'd be drunk.
And then you can't see anything.
And it would just be
it's in-
shard glass floating around in this couple of inches of water. And I would
Sounds
also,
like a medieval torture room.
and remember, you couldn't get a cab then because you'd come out and you'd be wet from the shins down. And he's like, no, there's no way you're getting in my car.
So you're half wet, covered in broken glass and suds, walking home in a pair of bowling shoes.
Just sloshing my way to a 7-Eleven as I got a single man hot pie from the microwave.
Oh, God.
And it was, I just laugh at the fact that I stole it. And who knows, it's since shut down. Maybe I was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Absolutely.
And then
Were
I
they
bought
red? Were they the red and blue? They come in different colours, the bowling shoes, but generally that red is involved and white.
Yeah, so these ones are red and yellow. So it looked like Ronald McDonald.
I've never seen the yellow ones.
So if you could paint a picture, I think there's one on my Instagram because my mum sent me a photo of it when I went to something and I was in then a suit I'd gotten from Salvo's or something.
Yeah.
And it would have been a 70s suit because we all thought that was cool then.
Yes, absolutely, we did.
And I think I was trying to act like Brad Pitt in Fight Club where he
Yeah.
was just wearing these second-hand. Yeah, I'm pretty cool with,
Yeah.
with 10-pin bowling shoes on. I'm so sorry for any women I tried to crack onto during that period.
The thing is, though, at the time we didn't know you were a total idiot because, we were in the same time. It's only in hindsight that we look at you and realise what a dickhead.
What a dickhead.
What a dickhead.
But I think the thing I'm just laughing at is because I just thought every move that I'd made in that situation was A1.
Do you ever think, what must my mum have been thinking?
Yeah.
At any point did she go, David,
Why would you?
why are you wearing bowling shoes? Or was she really supportive?
That's a very good question. My mum is fairly supportive of most of my stupid moves. She's very good like that. I mean, it proves that insurers won't insure men under 25 because that kind of risk assessment is not a thing.
You've read the research that a man's brain isn't fully formed until he's I'm going to
40.
say no. I know. I was going to say 21, but I think it's been revised
To
to about 25.
And when you see that, you go, yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you don't have sons, but I do, and that is a very important piece of information to have.
And it's an unfortunate combination of so little forethought, but yet so much
Conviction.
and physical power. Like if you think like,
Yes.
a young man, a 19-year-old man and the testosterone that is flaring through it and the fact that they're now like physically a man.
Yes,
But the thing that's running it, the person who's in the driver's seat is a boy.
that's right. It really is helpful to know that. And if anybody's listening who's a mother of teenage sons, make sure they know that too, because I say sometimes they do things and it confuses them. They're like, wait, Leo, I don't know what I was I really don't know what I was thinking, Mum. And I go, it's okay. That's science. You really didn't know what you were thinking. You're not actually going to know what you're thinking for another 10 years. So get used to being confused by your very own decisions.
And then the dust settles and you wake up in the middle of the night and go, why did I wear bowling shoes out in public?
Yes, exactly. Full explanation. So true. Now, you've just name-dropped a few wonderful comedians. We've got fantastic comedians in this country, some of the best. Ursula Carlson is an honorary Australian, even though she's technically a South African New Zealander.
Yeah, she's a babushka doll of like the Commonwealth Games.
She is, isn't she? Do you remember the big mascot kangaroo, Matilda, at the Commonwealth Games? And it would slow blink like this.
Was this which Common Games? Are we talking?
I'm going to say
82 Brisbane.
82 Brisbane.
Oh, what a time. Was that the...
Like a big paper mache kangaroo. You don't remember? Oh, no, you would have been too little.
I was too little, but I do know certain things about that Commonwealth Games because Commonwealth Games were a big thing growing up.
Massive.
Now I get it.
Rob de Castella, the works.
Please. And I remember, wasn't that the opening ceremony in Brisbane where they, as they always do, they get people to come out, and it would have been on Suncorp Stadium or whatever it is up in Brisbane. They got all these kids to make the outline of Australia and they'd forgotten Tasmania.
And it was an outrage.
Which is also funny to think it was a time when everyone went, yeah, it's fine. And it wasn't until it went out to the world that they went, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's that other bit, the other state. Tasmanians must get sick of that. It happens with monotonous regularity.
I feel Tasmania, though, it's a 180. I think now I'd be happy to be a Tasmanian.
Have you been to Mona?
Beautiful, fun, like the oak in the state of Tasmania. I love it.
All of it. It's magic. Have you got tickets to sell there or something? Is this why you're sucking up to all the Tasmanians? I know you.
Although, what an interesting place, because I think all the artisans have gone down there, have turned it into a place with Mona and whatever.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Oh, it's magical.
Yet you can walk around Tasmania and go, oh, yeah, I get it. Like there's another level.
I want to talk for a moment about Devonport. No offence to anybody listening from Devonport, but it's so exciting to arrive on the shores when you're on the boat.
Yeah.
And then you get off at Devonport and you go, how far away is Tasmania from here?
Yeah, this is an interesting spot.
Yes, and I love that because they've put in no effort. They're like, we're here all the time. You're here for 10 minutes on your way to somewhere else. We'll leave it exactly the way we like it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a bit like, treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen. Like, if you can get through this, all the rewards are yours.
That is so true.
But I'm not coming to you, mate.
No.
You've got to come to me.
No, I'm not meeting you halfway. Back to Ursula. So she is touring all the time. And she's posted a fancy picture recently of her at dinner with like Amy Schumer and all of this stuff. She's filming a...
Hello.
I know. I called her to come on to the podcast. She's like, sorry, I can't. I'm in New York filming a movie. I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah, same.
All right. It was really nice to know you.
Yeah.
And I'm not worthy anymore. But she's posted a while back now some responses to trolls. And I always find it very interesting because I don't respond to any of them. I just block and delete. That's my thing.
Good on you.
And then I just don't give them any of they don't bother me. I don't care what they say, but I do think that I'm doing them a favour because obviously I make them very, very angry and yet they keep on coming to read my bits and bobs. So I block them for their own good.
I do find that strange as well. I'm like, what? Why are you angry? Just move on. Your thumb can scroll to the next thing.
It is most unusual. Ursula doesn't block and delete. She responds to them with some reasonable research too. Somebody has posted, looks like she needs less bread and milk and a few more comedy lessons, laughing emoji. To which Ursula says, after obviously going through their profile, she says, maybe I can just retrain for an afternoon and be an average hairdresser like you. So she knows that they're a hairdresser. This is my favourite. Someone has commented, well, I guess that explains the weight. Obviously, she's talking about something she's eaten. And she says, yeah, every time I let your dad eat my ass, he gives me a cookie.
Eat my ass has really gone for it too.
It is brutal.
Ursula,
you dirty bird.
that is great. I mean, the personal attack is, I find, childish and hilarious. Like you really have, because they would think, well, you're famous. That's not fair that you're giving me a crack. It's like, well, it is.
You started it.
Yeah, you've decided to go toe-to-toe with someone like Ursula.
I'm a block and delete. What do you? You wouldn't get much online, would you?
No, I do. I've started to put up more clips, and then what do you know? As someone who is in the social media field, they do say if you're reaching more people, that means you get more abuse because you're going on people's feeds and they don't follow you. So this is what I find.
But I just can't imagine how anyone wouldn't love you. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Because I've been in media forever now, 20 years. This is my 21st year. Oh. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
I know. It seems nuts. But I remember the first time anyone was mean to me on a forum or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was so taken aback because I'm not a bad person. And generally in my real life, no one's ever mean to me. This one person was really mean to me, saying terrible things. And then sort of the next week, while I was still smarting from that, I saw somebody having a crack at Hamish Blake, who's one of the loveliest. He's a beautiful man, and I knew that he was a beautiful man. So that sort of helped me way back then because I thought, God, if someone can say something mean about Hamish Blake, who is an angel on earth, then let them say bad things about me because nobody is immune.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now in this weird world, and I put it down to as well, people's feeds are apps, like anyone's feed. I'm not talking about people specifically. Think about how batshit crazy it is in that you will get a soldier coming home from war and surprising his partner or their partner.
Yeah.
And, seeing their family dog and you're like, oh, God. And then it's flicking over to me doing stand-up and going, me bloody kids are giving me the shits.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, you're a bad person. It's like, yeah, because you've been hit with too much stuff.
And also you're stupid.
Yeah.
That's a terrible combination.
Yeah, and then so I think there's that factor, the fact they're behind a screen, so who cares?
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes you are like, what's going on in your world? I mean, in my more childish times, I do go on their profile, and so many times for me, it's absolutely a dude who's older than me, but it says on his profile single, and I just always can't believe it. You silver-tongued devil that you're single.
I love it when you look at their profiles and they say, I love everyone, God is good, all of that goo-goo stuff. And you're like, mate, don't be mean to people you've never met.
Also, this is one kills me. I'm an empath.
Yeah.
And they've got that on their profile. I'm like, to be honest, if you're empathetic, you'd know you just don't say that out loud. You just do it.
Yeah, that's it.
And then I'm like, really? Empathetic? I have written that where I've looked at their profile and they'll say something like that. Like, I'm an empath. And I go, that's great empathy that you've just shown by putting that comment down. And one of my favourite ones is...
it's like people that say that they're Buddhists and then go on massively nasty rants about all sorts of stuff. It's like, it's embarrassing.
Yeah. I don't know Buddhism that well, but I don't feel there's a tenet that says gets stuck right into shitheads.
Hook in. Hook in.
Oh, the Dalai Lama is just saying,
no, I don't think
be a better person to get to nirvana. But trolling, absolutely.
Yeah.
140 characters, just lay the boots in.
Has anybody ever sort of trolled you in real life? Hecklers.
Hecklers, yes, there is hecklers. I mean, as a side note.
Hecklers are just annoying.
Before I get to, face-to-face trolling, I do find for anyone who makes it easier, I write back saying, every comment that you write pushes my algorithm further up in people's feeds.
Oh, and they'd be like...
And they're like, oh, well, I don't care, idiot. And I'm like, you've done it again. So I'm only this is only going to more people.
Oh, that's good.
And then they're cuckolded. So they go, and you're like, keep commenting, it's fine. And I will just keep back at them so that it bolsters it up and more people see it.
That's actually really smart.
Yeah, because then you just can't lose. But yes, in stand-up you constantly get people who are, just coming up to you. A woman the other night, because I'm at the Melbourne Comedy Festival as of recording, and she's just after the show, one woman came up to me and said, I liked your show. It was a strange emphasis on I. Like,
were they allowed backstage or you were just...
No, I say to people afterwards, because people just send you messages on and DMs, and it's always very nice. So I was like,
I love that part of it, yeah.
I always thought, and I still think it's, like I feel weird because I think it's self-indulgent. Like I don't, but then people will say, I wouldn't mind a photo. I'm like, okay, that's really nice of you to do that.
Yeah, and it's the least you can do.
And I feel like I'm taking up people's time. Like I don't want to be, after this show, I'll still be around, but people are very nice and say, can I get a photo? So I'm like, oh, okay.
There's going to be a day that you finish a show and you come out and nobody's waiting for you, and then you'll just cry on the way home in your bowling shoes.
That's I think we're going to have to go, guys.
Send in the clowns. Anyway, so one woman said to you, I liked your show.
And then I went, okay, thank you very much for coming. And then her friend just went, no, I'm British and I didn't like it. And I went,
What?
Okay, because I was a bit kind of side-blinded me a bit. I felt like I'd been clipped for no reason. And I went, oh, okay. And then she hammered it home. She said that twice. No, she said it 3 times, twice after.
What's her nationality got to do with anything?
Oh, it's the same.
I'm Australian. I love the 2 Ronnies.
I know, but I couldn't understand. Maybe because there is Australianisms, and I talk about, say, growing up in Australia. But
You're one of the greatest stand-up comedians I've ever seen, and it took me so long to see you. And when I finally did, do you remember that night? You could hear me from the audience
Yes,
wailing.
I could hear you.
Wailing because I know you as you, and obviously I find you magnificent and funny, of course. But there's something about you on stage. I was so impressed. It was like I didn't know you.
You're so nice at compliments that I go, thanks, and I don't know what to do with it. But that's very nice of you.
Oh, it's
Thank you.
absolutely true. And I've said it before. You're just one of the greatest, truly.
It is. I truly love it. Like, I truly love live performing. But yes, I found it so bizarre afterwards that this woman, and she just kept reiterating that point. I'm British and I didn't like it. And I was like, I don't understand what's happening and why. And then they wanted a photo with me. And because I went, okay. So I don't know what she's done with that photo. I'm on a dartboard somewhere in Leeds now going, this tool thought he was funny. And she's just taking it out on me in the British Isles. I don't know. It was bizarre.
That's like Humanity 101 though. You don't say to somebody that you find something that's clearly important to them, not to your taste. The same goes with food. The same goes with anything. You just, like, it's manners.
You just move through it. And
you certainly don't articulate it like that.
And I always thought too, it's funny, my partner is half German. We got good friends of ours. He's British and she's American. And it's funny that my partner, who lived in England till she was 10 or so, and then over, she doesn't have an accent or anything, and you wouldn't know. But then she does get frustrated that Australians, because we're so, like, we dance around things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Aussies are very, mate, we'll catch up. And she always goes, you won't catch up with them. I'm like, nah, but you say it. Like, you have to.
Yeah, you just say it.
And you go, yeah, that's it. That sounds great. And she goes, you have no impulse to do that, do you? I'm like, nah. And my British friend, he's like that. He goes, no, this is what we do. You are so polite, and then you try to weasel out of things that you don't want to do afterwards.
Yeah.
And it was funny because my partner, who's half German and half German, that's really the part that comes out. And
more blunt,
yes.
honest.
And our American friend is like, I can't stand it that you guys can't be direct. So that's what threw me off by this British woman when she's like, I'm British, I didn't like it. I was like, I thought British people were like us, where you just kind of go, no, it was great. And then politely say shit about them behind your back.
You find the positives.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if I was in Malta and I went to see a Maltese performer, I wouldn't understand a word they were saying, but I could think of something positive. I'd be like, your pants are fantastic. Or the exchange rate is great, didn't cost me much to be here at all.
Maltese Terriers, love them. I love them.
Love them.
Those little chocolate lollies that you guys do, Maltesers.
The best.
They are the best.
The best.
All of this.
It's most unusual.
Don't stop being you. Do not stop being you.
I want to talk
great.
about your blunt wife or partner. What is an example of where you and her differ culturally in that kind of honesty?
I'll give you a prime example. And mind you, I have gotten used to it, and I actually do respect. It's a weird thing. You get up to, in Europe, you get to Germany and then you go to Scandinavia, because I did date a Scandinavian girl for a little bit. And
show off.
And what a time. And gorgeous people, let's be honest. And
they are like unbelievably beautiful, every single one.
That's what I said, yeah, the Vikings are raiding. You're like, it's not too bad, is it?
Let them in.
Worst things have happened at sea. And I remember, because she was Norwegian, she would always say to me like that, like, why couldn't you just be honest with people? Because they will, I remember her saying it. She'd be, oh, we should go out for dinner. I don't think I would be doing that. I'm very busy, but after I'm busy, we can do something. And like, I'd be, what are we, oh God. And it would hurt me for her to say, but she goes, why would I lie to them? I will want to go for dinner with them, but not now, I'm busy. And I'm like, oh, no wonder you guys.
Oh, it's so great. I mean, we should probably learn to be a bit more that way.
I also think like that's why Germany almost beat the world in a war, because they were like, no, you go do that and then we'll get this done.
Yeah, well, their directions were very clear.
When we're like, if you want to.
Yes.
If you feel like it. And this is one thing with my partner, and I did say to her, please don't do this. And it makes sense that she does it because she's being honest.
Yeah.
But if we are round at a friend's house and say it's her friends, and if you're around at your partner's friend's house, I feel like I don't have the authority to call it.
To call it. Absolutely. Never, ever, ever. That is an unspoken rule that the person who brought the friends to the relationship chooses the leaving time.
And we'll be around there, and it only happened recently and I was really tired. Like I was going into it, I'm like, I'm pretty wrecked today.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, but we'll have an early dinner, and they've got kids, and so we can all.
It's like a night off when other people have kids.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, and
palm your kids
because I got younger kids, so it is just, and it's also a shit fight because they're all just clawing away at the food and everything. And
God, it does get better.
Yeah,
no, it does.
But we all know that we're in this mess, so it's a bit of fun to have other people there with you. But it got to a point where then you're going, I'm really tired. I want to get the hell out.
And you're probably thinking, if we don't leave now, the girls are going to fall asleep in the car, and then they've had a 1 hour cat nap, and then we're not going to get to sleep until 12 minutes. Yeah, I get it.
All that stuff. And so I gave her the look of, and tapped the watch. And there's that, I think we should go because Dave's tired. And I was like, don't do that. I felt really bad. I'm like, can you, like, you're
And she's not being malicious. She's just telling the truth.
Yeah,
you do have to go, and you are tired.
And I know that's where it came from. Like she's a very nice, honest person. And she did say afterwards, she goes, well, I don't see the problem with it. And I was like, I wanted the world to eat me up.
Yeah. So what would you have done in that situation if the tables were turned and they were your friends and your partner gave you the look? What's your default? I know what mine would be.
A huge run-up on how my day's been and how tired I am and all that, and then so sorry, and I'd apologise and say, look, it's just been crazy. Like the week's been so busy and so good to see you guys. And honestly, I would have stayed for longer, but God, and the kids, they never thought I would be in knots.
Yeah. You'd give 7,000 reasons why you are a shit bloke.
Yes.
Just to protect your partner and to get out of there, when it's actually okay to say, we are bushed.
Yes.
We've got to go.
Yeah, which is fine. And again, I think this is more my problem than anything because you think, yes, life would be easy if we were just direct like that. But I just feel like I then have to explain myself out of letting them down for some stupid reason.
I love this discussion because I don't know whether it's a cultural thing or a generational thing. I don't know. Maybe it's because we were born in the 70s or I don't know where it comes from. But I do find that in a lot of social situations and family situations, even with my own kids, my default, without even thinking about it, is to not say how I am. I protect them from my humanity and my changes in mood, and I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And I've started to address that over the last couple of years. I went from, pulling into the garage and just watching the house from my car going, okay, second shift starts. Just having 5 minutes to scroll on Instagram or to listen to a song I like or to just sit there quietly in the dark. I went from that to being, why can't the same woman that is currently in this car and cooked, why can't she walk down her path and into her own house with her own children and be the same woman? Why can't she?
And just explain, I'm a bit cooked now.
I'm cooked.
Can you just give me a bit of space?
Yeah. And that's what happens to human beings when they parent and work and are thinking about mortgage repayments and maybe don't get a huge amount of sleep or their mother breaks her ribs. That's what happens to human beings. And so I'm trying to show them that so that when it happens to them, inevitably, they won't think they're not coping and everyone else is coping because they've seen me walk through that door like a player from Doom. Like full-on ghoul, like something from Lord of the Rings. And I have not, I have been known to pull in the garage and put lipstick on and put my hair up and fully put on a show in my own home with my own kids because I don't want them to think mum's tired. And then I started to think, why don't I? I'm a human being. They've got to understand that even their mother, who they biologically are predisposed to idolising, which worries me as well, cracks the shits, gets tired, is over it, doesn't particularly want to do it every day.
I mean, my partner has been good with this with me because I can only put this down to my parents always doing a good job, don't get me wrong, but I think it was a generational thing of why would you explain yourself, especially to your kids? You know, you come home tired. And like my dad was that classic, he'd come home tired and mum would say, leave him alone.
Yeah, and then, you think you've done something wrong.
Yeah, and then he would come home, sit in his chair, not say a damn word to any of us, and then be like kind of through dinner, like defrost, if that makes sense.
Yes,
like he would just
absolutely makes sense.
He'd get food into him and kind of do this and
How was your day, David?
It's all right. Then you're like, oh, okay, the tension's left the room.
Yeah.
So what you're probably trying to do is thinking, I don't want to bring that energy into the house. But then my partner was the one who pointed out, she's like, you can also come in and be like, I'm really tired. I'm a bit worn out. Can you give Dad a bit of space? And I reckon I'll come good. And everyone goes, oh, fine.
Yeah.
And I was like,
as long as the child isn't left to its own crackers devices. Because as we said.
As it fills the void of what did I do wrong?
Exactly. Because kids, as we were just talking about, they don't have adult brains like us. They can't process the world the way that we have. Oh, we do. I look at my daughter. She's only been around for 10 years. 10 years.
Yeah.
That's not a long time.
No, it's not.
To do all the living that we expect them to have done. So, of course, if I come home and I look like Voldemort, of course she thinks, what have I done?
Voldemort with lipstick on.
Well, and a natty ponytail and a messy bun. And a messy bun. And sometimes I even put a denim jacket on just to give myself a little lift.
Voldemort is evil, but geez, it looks good. It's all right.
You know, the hair is working.
The hair is working. Yeah, so then.
Instead of them going, I wonder what the problem is, she's obviously shitty, she hates being a mother, which is, that's the conclusion I came to when I was her age. I'm a burden, you know, no one likes living here with me. I've just got to get through to adulthood so that I can relieve these people of their. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't want them to think that. And I think it would have been solved, that questioning, by just going, I'm not angry. I might look it. I'm just really fucking tired.
I'm really tired. I mean, I also think we shouldn't underestimate them what kids do understand, because I did it. I've started to try and get better at that, like just explaining the situation. And it was only a week or two ago, which again, Melbourne Comedy Festival was on. So which means my day, especially on school holidays, was looking after the kids, and then you've got to flick into showbiz mode.
That's hard.
And so you're a bit tie-tie. And then I was sitting there.
Well, it's not even that you're physically tired. It's that all of, I call it like, you know, in the old school computers when you had all the screens up.
Yeah.
And when you've got a whole lot of screens open, the battery drains so much quicker.
Yeah.
And that's what school holidays and working are for me. It's like I cannot be all of these people on the same day.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. And I remembered, because she's quite inquisitive, my 7-year-old, and she's asking, which it's impressive how they just pluck questions out of nothing.
Yes.
But then they're trying to say, like I think she even asked, you know, so crocodiles, they're like dinosaurs. So are they dinosaurs? Are they, and like in my better times, you'd be like, great question, mate. Like I think they were. Like this is great fun. It's at a point, and I'm like, Freddie, mate, it's been a long day, and I just cracked it, and then I went and had a shower and got myself ready for the gig to get out of a plaid shirt and back into a cleaner plaid shirt. and then
Still the uniform?
Still the
uniform, yeah.
I'm not stretching my legs too far. Bowling shoes, obviously.
Of course, obviously.
And then, because I also carried that, like, probably a Catholic guilt as well, where then I went, okay, great. I'm in the shower just thinking, great, you know, I've just had that moment with her. That's caused a division between us. She won't understand me. She'll just think my dad was an a-hole. She's going to explain this to us like 30 years from now.
Yeah.
I just went back in.
She's come to me in a stormy sea in a life-saving, in a lifesaver, and I've just pushed her out into the choppiness. I get it.
And then I went up to her and I said, mate, it's just because Daddy's going to perform, and she's done stuff in front of the assembly before and got nervous, and we talked about all that.
Yeah.
Explain it. And she goes, I get that, Dad. It makes complete sense. And she said, I understand you'd have to think about that. And I gave her a big cuddle and she goes, I get it, Dad. I love you, Dad. And I was like, Jesus, okay, you're all across this.
And it's that simple.
Yeah, and I'm not saying she wouldn't have been across it if I didn't explain it, but I was like, of course you grasp this situation. Of course you get it.
Oh, no, I think she only grasped that when you said that.
Yeah, but then I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I have done that? Like this weird thing, I've gone through a maelstrom in the shower of what the hell am I doing and what should I do?
And then did you check her bedroom when you were in the shower and she was alone in her room and she just did a portrait of a crocodile and her, and it just said, "My daddy hates crocodiles and me." Is that what she was working on while you were beating yourself up in the shower?
Just the twilight years of my life, I've now realised it was that conversation that put me into a shitty home as I was.
All trauma's good trauma, Thorno.
Yes, we spoke about this. It's just the right amount of trauma will make her a successful person.
Absolutely spot on. Before I let you go, I've been wanting you to answer this question for years.
Oh.
Ask me anything.
You know what I want to ask you?
What? So imagine that we're on Instagram and there's a big box that says AMA.
I remembered, as a side note, I do remember one of my producers, managers, who was like, we should do an AMA. And I said, no, I've seen so many of them go wrong. Just the wheels have fallen off.
Like what?
Just on the internet, you know, where someone of profile. We were talking on the weekend with mates about James Corden did an AMA and it went sideways.
Well, because he's an awful guy, apparently.
Well, that was the thing. My mates were explaining to me. People were just like, I work at a restaurant.
I can't believe it. I've seen him singing in his car and I just refuse to believe that he couldn't be anything but adorable.
I think that's the most dangerous human, who puts on a facade of being a very nice person and can pull it off. And then you find out very quickly they're an a-hole. I find that the most disturbing personality trait.
I agree. It's as if a dugong.
I'm already happy.
Oh, good. Dugongs make me happy too.
Cows of the sea.
It's like the cows of the sea. It's like a dugong.
I just can't know. Is it what are they trying?
When I was trying to work out that analogy, just a dugong's little face, little wrinkly face popped into my head and I realised that I was on the right track. Yeah. It's like a dugong.
Yeah.
Has the person.
I just never would have thought in this podcast that we're going to be talking dugongs. You bet we are. Go on. Sorry, that just tickled me.
It's like a dugong has the personality
yes.
of a great white shark.
Oh, yes.
Because they look like a dugong, which are delicious, beautiful, the cows of the sea.
Yeah, like you dangle your feet in the water, going, look at this dugong.
They nuzzle.
Just living off kelp, having a good time.
Yeah.
And then oh, no, my shin's gone.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
Thrashing with your leg in their inverted teeth.
Besmirching the good reputation of dugongs.
Dugongs. So, yes, James Corden, his AMA went wrong.
Yeah, it went absolutely sideways because just the truth came out. But this is something I've wanted to ask you for a long time.
Yeah, great.
Would you ever do stand-up comedy? Did you hear our producer?
Yes, I did, Marcel. Ooh.
No, because I've said this to you before. Well, I hope I have. In that you're a very funny person. Like anytime I've gone on radio, you're always like, there's always a good riff. I'm always like, you're very articulate, very smart. And I remembered when you were, because it was probably about 4 years ago, like you were coming out to gigs and things and I was hanging with you backstage.
Yeah. So that year, my midlife crisis was in full swing and I recommend it wholeheartedly. You're a long way behind me, but when it comes, you know where I am. I have all the tips and tricks to get you through it. And that year was when it had first started and I was out every night walking and breathing in the air and seeing stand-up comedy shows because they have always made me feel alive, always.
Because interestingly enough, okay, I think like I saw Carrie Bickmore on here recently and I said to her, because she's out seeing heaps of shows
Is she?
at the Melbourne Comedy Festival. And I said,
I know what's going on there. Call me Carrie.
Well, I did say to her, because you spend so much time on the project sitting across some comics,
Yes.
A, finding out how batshit crazy we are.
Yes.
But also I said your acumen for comedy would be very good because you would see it so much and see the mechanics of it and understand it. Because I
Yeah.
think Waleed's got good acumen for stand-up because
Yes.
he's next to a stand-up a lot.
Yeah.
And when she sees shows, she goes, yeah, I sit there going, oh, they did that with it, which is what I do.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy stand-up. I love it. But I watch it like mechanically if it's similar stand-up to mine.
Right.
And I'd think you would have a similar brain where you would, I think, understand it on a mechanical level, where some people you go, you probably don't get it. When you would see the strings and go, oh, yeah, that's a good thing that they've done with that story and the way that they've,
yeah.
that punchline at the end and how they've gone about it.
Yes, I do see it that way.
Yeah.
But that also makes me feel like I don't think I'll be able to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I just find, like even on TV, you'll rip out some zingers and I'm like, that's good gear. And I'm just always like, all the parts are there.
How would I do it?
How would you?
Would you help me?
Well, the hard thing is, honestly, I've thought about this, is because you got profile in that I think you would be way better than most starting. But I've seen people with profile then try it, and because people know them, like there's a beautiful anonymity when you start that you can die in your hole and everyone goes, old mate in the bowling shoes was shit.
Yes,
and they never think about it again.
Yeah, that's right.
And like guarantee there's always a bomb, especially when you're starting.
Yeah.
And so, then they would be like, not to put you off it, but, they'd say, Chrissie Swan got up.
You have just done to me exactly what my very worst boss did to me. His name was Hovey and I was working in a supermarket delicatessen. He was the weirdest, meanest man.
Oh, God.
And what he would do is he would say something funny, properly funny.
Yeah.
And I would laugh and he would go, shut up. And it was this weird thing. You have just said to me you would be a great stand-up comedian. You're so good. You're so good. It'd be amazing. And I laughed. I got excited.
And then
you went, get back.
Although, no, sorry, I was mitigating risk and I realised it came out as don't do it because of that. I was just trying to say, you said what would stop you and I'd only be because of that. But if you push through on that.
Do you know what? I have thought about it and there is a part of me, I think, Marcel, I've even told you, haven't I, that I would like to do it just once. Might have been somebody else. Might have been Peg, my other daughter. And I have wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I won't name names, but I have seen some shows of people that aren't stand-up comedians and also people that are stand-up comedians. And I think because I've worked solely in live television and live radio, and I think that that's where the magic is, in the live stuff, I have found the performances to be lazy and I don't want to cash in on people who work very hard paying $25 to see me and I get up there and I haven't really slaved away and made a great, great thing. And at the moment, I don't have the mental real estate to make a great, great thing. I would feel guilty.
That is both extremely nice and extremely respectful because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Do you? And
when you say, and I guess because we understand it, where you're like, well, the work needs to be put in. There needs to be some effort there. The work needs to be put in. Otherwise, and these shows that I'm talking about, I didn't pay to go. Do you know what I mean? I was given a free ticket and I was looking around thinking, there's been no effort shown here. There's been no love for Leanne here with her school friends that have paid $35 a head expecting something good. Yes, I know what you mean. And it does take effort. I mean, God, I do stand up and at times I'm like, this is a lot of effort. And you know what? It shows. It shows. It shows. Your shows are so well crafted and there are so many satisfying dopamine hits in them for someone like me who does know how these things work. Oh, that's nice of you. And you start and then you go, oh, yes, I understand that better because of something he said there, and that's related to that. There's so much thought, so much architecture in it, and that for me is what I want to pay for. Yes, I want to laugh. You are brilliant, but I love to know that someone has put on a show.
Whereas with my schedule the way it is now, I could probably do a Q&A, which involves me going to get a blow wave and turning up in a nice frock and everybody in the audience doing the work. There is not enough for me to charge money for people just to come and look at me and ask me a question. They can do that every day of the week, and they do. When I'm shopping, when I'm at the supermarket, when I'm at the red light, when I'm getting my coffee, that's fine. That's the exchange that I can handle. Okay. But I can't take people's money for that.
I didn't think I helped out by pointing out the pitfalls at the start of this conversation. I realised that was the error of my ways. But I want to be on the record and say I think you will be amazing. I hear everything that you have to say. Because funnily enough, your friend, colleague, Sam Pang.
Yes.
He did an amazing job where he was like, I always want to give it the due diligence. I can never get that word out right.
It's a very difficult word.
Yeah, that it deserves. And then when he started doing the gigs with, and a lineup gig with the other guys, I was like, no, you put in the effort, which was incredible. Like he did it and he pushed through and I'm not saying he was always going to be great, but he really gave it a good hard crack and I was like, good on you, Pangy.
Absolutely, he did. You could sense the care.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell you what, it's not a no, but I want you to help me.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know when you've got time or I've got time, but we'll work it out. And it's time to go because I'm tired.
That makes complete sense.
I love you.
This feels like we reversed engineered a tour. Like it feels like...
That's exactly what we've done. Plant the seed, baby.
We've dangled the carrot and now, guys, come see us and now sold out world tour.
It'll be in 20 years and you and I will be headlining the Tweedheads RSL singing We're a Couple of Swells.
Mate, we could be just at a retirement home when the wheels have fully fallen off. We think we'd having a massive gig.
Oh, God. I can't wait for those days. I really can't.
That'll be a good one, huh?
Doesn't that say something about your life when you walk past a retirement home and you go, I just want to go in there and have someone look after me? Thank you so much for joining me, Dave Thornton. I'll see you next time.
I'll see you next time.
Well, it looks like I've got to get cracking on writing my own stand-up show with all my spare time, I guess. That was Dave Thornton and I am Chrissie Swan and you are a beloved ChrissieCaster. We are launching a new competition this week. Find us on Instagram and Facebook at the ChrissieCast for how you can win a one-of-a-kind embroidered T-shirt. We're pumped about it. Also, it is made right here at the compound at my kitchen table. Are you intrigued? Get onto the socials, baby. See you next time.